Don't listen to this. Don't listen. Who wants to know about this?
Don't
Close
listen
your
to this.
ears.
Don't listen.
This
Who
is
wants
not
to
for
know
you.
about this?
There's no audience.
Don't listen to
There's
this.
no demographic.
Don't listen.
Don't listen.
Don't
This
listen.
is not for you.
Who wants to know about this?
There is no audience.
Don't
there
listen.
is no
Close your ears.
demographic.
Don't listen.
Don't listen.
Who wants to know about this?
This is not for you.
Don't
Close your
listen to
ears.
this.
There is no
Don't
audience.
Don't
listen.
listen.
There
This
is
is
no
not
Who
for
wants to
you.
know
demographic.
about this?
There
Don't
is no
listen.
Don't
audience.
listen to
There is
this.
no
Don't
demographic.
listen.
Don't listen.
Don't
This
listen.
is not for
Who wants
you.
to know about this?
There is no audience.
Don't listen to
Close
There's
this.
your
no
ears.
demographic.
Don't listen.
Don't listen.
Who wants
This
to
is
know
not for
about
you.
this?
There's
Close
no
your ears.
audience.
Don't
There's no
listen.
demographic.
This is not
Don't
for you.
listen.
There is no audience. There is no demographic.
Don't listen.
Little boxes on the margins, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes in communities, little boxes all the same. There's a scared one and a worried one and a hopeless one and a hopeful one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same. And the people on the margins want inclusion and equality, and they're stuck in little boxes, and they came out all the same. And there's poverty and addiction, lack of services in communities, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky, and they all look just the same. And we want change in communities, but are let down by the policies, and they paint us pretty pictures, more pilot schemes down the lane. And the people feel forgotten and are let down by the government, where they're put in little boxes and things stay just the same. When communities go into action for children and society, in boxes made of ticky-tacky, and they all look just the same. There's an angry one and a lost one and a worried one and a feisty one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky, and they all want just the same.
Jeez, it's cold out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cold in here.
Do you want a cup of tea?
I'll wait till the rest of them comes and see.
Yeah. Come here, did you bring those pictures about the fast bottles or those gas bottles?
Alright.
Aye, beautiful. Do you want tea?
Yeah, no, go, Paul.
Hot coffee?
2 sugars, please, Paula.
Sharon, when you Manuel?
Oh, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Can't wait, yeah, can't wait. Literally.
Guys,
You alright, girls?
sorry. Is there tea?
Yeah, we're going to get tea.
Charles down a cup there, will you?
Do you take sugar in your tea?
2, please.
Imagine both yous in green.
We didn't plan that. No, absolutely not.
Alright,
Paul, I'll have coffee.
Are you well?
You alright,
Did you
Tara?
get a cup of tea?
We did.
We did.
How are you all? You're on good form?
Yeah,
Not too bad.
Good. Listen, we might get started. I'm conscious that we're kind of stuck for time.
Hey, I'm Maeve and I'm from Dublin. I've lived here all my life, born, bred and buttered as me ma would say. Me ma moved out of the city centre with me dad and me brother before I was born. They moved into a brand new 3-bed house. Me ma said she can still remember the smell of the cement from the day she moved in. The same week that our family moved in, so did about 100 other families. There were houses being built left, right and centre for whoever wanted them. Looking at the situation going on now, I genuinely can't remember homelessness ever being talked about in my household. Like, it was a totally foreign concept. It felt like homelessness only happened to people in really bad circumstances. I wasn't short of friends. All the kids played together in the estate. We were swinging around lampposts and we played in the huge muck hills left from all the building work that was going on. We had the houses, but we had very little infrastructure. The local pub, the Sparrows, now that was built before the school, so read into that what you will. And before we had a real shop, we had a van shop called Jerry's. I always wondered why, when me ma'd be going to the van, I'd never see her pay. It wasn't until I was made to go to the shop for me ma that I realised everyone got their messages on tick. I'd arrive at the shop with no money but with a handwritten note. Please, Jerry, can you give Maeve 2 sliced pans and 20 Super King Black and I'll settle with you on Thursday. Being able to get messages on tick kept a lot of families going back then, including ours. Anyway, I was happy growing up. I liked where I lived. I felt like everyone knew everyone and everyone looked out for each other. I had a real sense of identity and of belonging. I think everyone who moved to my estate had such high hopes for the future. Just like my family, this was a brand new start. We had what people would call today a sense of community. It wasn't me and my family alone in a maze of housing estates. We'd been given a place to settle. We'd found a home. It's mad what you can take for granted. It's also mad how valuable something can feel when it's gone and you've no idea how to get it back again. As the neighbourhood settled, it became clear that not everybody got the same fresh start. A lot of people's problems had followed them. I think we as Irish people can carry around a lot of pain. Generational trauma is something that we have to contend with. Poverty remained a massive hurdle. High unemployment rates and the lack of infrastructural investments led to parts of the community becoming depressed. Opportunity was suppressed, really. People looked for and found an outlet for this distress. Look, I'm a community rep working with a local drug and alcohol task force. I think we may know where this conversation is going. It hurts to say it, but drugs became an issue in our area. For some in the community, it became a totally life-altering problem. I remember going along on the marches that the Concerned Parents Against Drugs set up to try and put pressure on the people who sold drugs in the area. To be honest, as a child, I hadn't a clue what the marches were about. It was me and all my friends. It was big crowds and loud noises. I remember being in absolute awe of the women around me in these type of marches. The women on my street ran the estate. They were powerhouses. They were fighting back against something. There was so much energy for the fight. I didn't understand. I didn't know how serious it all was. I didn't know the impact it was going to have on my future. Look, and I just paused for a second. I just feel like I need to say something. I feel like I want to tell you again how much I love my community. I know I've already said it, but I feel defensive. So many people have so many opinions about the place that I live. It has a reputation that exists out there. It's totally outside of my control. I feel powerless. I feel like I want to tell you about the amazing people I know and the determination that I've seen. I also know that that won't change the things that need to change. We need to be able to talk about it on our own terms. I'm sharing my story with you in good faith. I would love if people could hear all that is being said, not just the stuff that matches a certain narrative. Two things happened to me when I was in my mid-20s that influenced the way I started to see my community. I had my first child and I suddenly lost my father to a brief illness. My whole life changed in a very short period of time. I felt vulnerable because of grief, but also because of all the new responsibilities. I became very sensitive to my environment. I was looking after this tiny person and I wanted to be there for me ma. I became very aware of safety. Was I safe? Was the baby safe? Was me ma going to be okay on her own? It felt like every other day I was hearing about me estate in the news, and they weren't good news stories. I'll never forget the faces in some people. Like when they'd ask, "Oh, where are you from?" And you tell them where you live, and there would be a face. They would make an automatic judgment straight away. And I remember how that felt. And I remember thinking, Jesus, I don't want me kids to feel like that. I have 2 kids now. When they were born, I decided that they were the most amazing kids in the world, which they are. I am a very proud mummy, and I want the absolute best for them. I don't want them to be met with the same stigma when they tell people where they grew up. But actually, my kids' childhood is an awful lot different from mine. They are not allowed to go to the shops by themselves. They don't play out on the road. Our front door is always locked. I'm worried constantly. I worry about their future. They've been exposed to things that I know they shouldn't be exposed to. They have to walk by seeing stuff on the ground, drug paraphernalia and the leftovers of violence. I have to explain what it is, or what certain noises are, or why they hear the name of our estate on the radio. As a parent, you don't want to tell them that these things are going on around them. Like so many places in the modern world, there are things to do with guns and family tragedy and control. There are patch wars and people hanging around on street corners. Parts of the community are hooded in shame. And I started, trying to shield them from everything. That was the only power that I felt I had in the situation. I think of that as a really heavy time. My family was grieving. I was weighed down with my new role in life. Being a new parent can be so isolating anyway. I felt under so much pressure to look after everyone and keep everyone safe and well. And it wasn't working. I couldn't shield them from everything. I wanted them to have some of those feelings that I had grown up, of being proud of the community and having friends and I wanted them to belong. But I didn't know how to do that. I felt I couldn't do anything by myself. The walls had closed in around me. The intensity of that time will never leave me. But one day I had had enough. I was sick of myself, sick of the pressure and all the responsibilities. I'd been talking to me auntie about how upset I was about me dad. She'd gone off and found a book for me about grief. On this day, I decided to take some advice from the book. My ma said she could babysit for half an hour and I took myself out for a walk. I started walking regularly, sometimes on my own, sometimes with my ma and the babies. We started to see people and say hello. There was this woman that I would see all the time. My ma had said her name was Nora and that she was a great one for being involved in everything. I felt really curious about her. I think her energy reminded me of all those powerhouse women I knew when I was growing up. She said hello to me one day and I gave her a big smile and said hello back. That was all Nora needed. I was standing there talking to her for half an hour easy. She was full of chat and she asked about the kids. The next time I saw her, she had a load of stuff in her bag for me to read. Stuff happening for the kids and a community fun day coming up. That's when I began to feel some relief. Things getting a bit lighter. I would chat to Nora whenever I saw her. We had some laugh together. I started to go to things. I started getting involved. I even got a little bit of counselling for myself and I was delighted with the support. One day, there was a raid a few estates over from mine. I just happened to meet Nora on the way back from the shops. Everybody there had been talking about it. As I was talking to Nora, I realised I didn't really know or understand the mechanics of what was going on around me. I had the well-worn opinions of others and the judgments from the media and whatever else I had picked up from the marches when I was a kid. But I felt like I was just repeating things I had heard. Nora sounded so informed and I liked how she talked about things. She talked about the people involved, but also about society and about policies and decisions made in rooms far away from our estates. It sparked an interest in me, and I wanted to know more. That conversation stayed with me for a long time. Finally, I found some courage, and I told Nora that I'd been thinking about it. I told her I was interested and that I wanted to find out more. She told me that there was some local community development courses that I could take, and without putting pressure on me, she told me that she thought I'd be well able for it. And that night, after putting the kids to bed, I was sitting on my own in the sitting room. I felt proud of myself. I really understood how far I had come. And I had this image in my head of being a little bit older, out for my usual walk and seeing a younger person. Maybe they were on their own or pushing a buggy with their new baby in it. They looked lonely and a bit lost. And as the story played out, it was me who was involved this time, me saying hello. It would be me with the information and the listening ear. I felt hopeful. I felt like myself. I signed up for the course the next morning. I do want people to listen. I do want people to know about my community. I want to be the one who supports a sense of community in my area. I have a vision for the place that I live.
I'm Maeve. I want better for my community.
I want hope. I want respect.
And I want an end of discrimination and marginalisation of working class communities. And I want our community development spaces back.
And I want social inclusion.
I want equality.
I want hope. I want more cultural spaces.
I want you to be part of this.
I'm Fiona.
I'm Linda.
I'm Noreen.
I am Andrea.
I am Tara.
I'm Paula.
I am Sharon. We are the Clondalkin Drug and Alcohol Task Force Community Representatives Forum.
We are Clondalkin Drug and Alcohol Task Force Community Representatives Forum.
We are a group of local representatives who live in the area that the task force provide a range of services for.
We are a collective of activists who seek to challenge the cause and effects of substance misuse in our community.
We are committed to tackling the issues associated with this misuse and the national systemic challenges surrounding these issues.
We are an inclusive group and we base our work on the principles of community development using the human rights-based approach.
We are a strategic working group who advise and take action with the task force on the substance misuse issues facing our fellow citizens on a local level.
Just the same. And we want change in communities, but are let down by the policies, and they paint us pretty pictures, more pilot schemes down the lane. And the people feel forgotten and are let down by the government, where they put in little boxes and things stay just the same. When communities go into action for children and society, in boxes made of ticky-tacky, and they all look just the same.
There's an angry one and a lost one and a worried one and a feisty one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky, and they all want just the same.